Like, when I watched PSG Talon's games, they're incredibly good at, hey, we want to reset on time, we want to set up our mid waves and set up our wave states correctly for our objective setup and get in towards dragons. And with a composition like PSG are playing, you want to set up for flanks. You want Kennen to be coming in from one angle, Nico from another, Rakan coming in from another side. You want to make sure you've got multiple different angles of attack here, and I think that kind of plays in towards what has been the strength of PSG Talon. So for me, this is kind of R7 saying, hey, look, we want to try and disrupt that. We want to get in early, get some early skirmishes going, particularly if we can try and play around this Renekton top side for things like Rift Herald, and then look to try and set up something for ourselves where we're just coming into these fights with an early lead and preventing you from getting that vision that allows your composition to function.
Well, no expectations at the moment. 0-0 on the board. You don't really know who's going to pop off, who's going to make a moment of themselves. And it really does kind of come down to, doesn't matter about the rest of the season. It's all about now. You have to get a good start. PSG Talon versus Movistar R7. Game 1 of the League of Legends World Championship 2023 is about to begin.
You hear the cheers in the crowd there. Excited to see R7 take the stage, but we're going to have to see if they can try and continue what has been, at least for them, the campaign started last year, or last MSI, to try and set themselves up with that first win. They're going to have to see now if they can do it again against PSG Talon. But PSG Talon, honestly, we were kind of talking before the game. If PSG Talon don't make it in towards groups, it feels like a failure for this team. They are so incredibly strong. Plus, even having guys like Corgi, the ex-EDG assistant coach, when they won Worlds, like, this is a team that is set up to take over the region, continue the legacy that PSG Talon have. And it's been amazing to see how they've kind of continued that legacy for.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I don't think it's unfair to say that PSG Talon have just been dominating in the PCS ever since they kind of became PSG Talon, and it has just kind of come down to how they want to try and, you know, progress, how they want to try and push for things as such like that to get beyond the play-in stage, and then even further from there. Of course, new format here in the play-in stage, new format in the Swiss as well, so in the group stage. So we'll see how far they can go. There's definitely an awful lot more up in the air. It's definitely not as clean cut as it used to be.
I mean, I'm excited to see just even how some of these new champions coming into this kind of workout. Like Kennen having the buffs that he got coming into this is, I think, going to be an incredibly strong matchup into the Renekton. This was always a bit of a skill matchup depending on how you positioned yourself in the lane. If the Renekton could try and close the gap, get onto the Kennen, you're in a good spot. But with the likes of the Summon Airy, if you're just getting poked down, it's so difficult to try and manage. You can already see Bong losing a good bit of damage in this early laning phase, and the push should be in a good spot for Azhi.
A little bit of an engage down in the bot side, but no level 2 hit by the Nautilus makes this one a little bit harder. Aggressive move there from Seo. One of the big carries from MSI.
Yeah, I think Lyonz just missed out on one of the CS, so you could see a little bit behind on the level 2 spike. So even though he went in aggressive, didn't quite have the level that he's expecting to, so they couldn't quite go all in there. But you can still see push going in favour of Seo and Lyonz for the moment. But I do think as Wako gets access to level 3, he'll be able to start getting control over this lane state, and that's where it'll become a little bit easier for Junjia to try and look for maybe some control over this bottom side, like get into the face of Oddie. But I imagine we're going to see a lot of pressure from Junjia towards the lanes, and that's kind of where he's been a staple for PSG Talon.
Yeah, well, since it is the beginning of Worlds, don't forget to log in and watch on lolesports.com to earn exclusive Worlds 2023 drops like emotes and icons. Lots of free things. Everyone likes free things. I like free things.
Yeah, great. I mean, look, it's simple economics, isn't it?
I was going to make a joke about yesterday, but then I stopped myself. Free things.
You don't get to...
I wasn't even there. It's not even my region, but sometimes it's just fun.
You don't kick him out while he's down. That's just bad. But, you know, I think for a lot of these like drops and gifts and stuff like that, it's actually kind of sick. I'm a little bit sad that like I end up working these events a lot, so I end up missing out on them.
Yeah,
so it's just
right?
Like, oh, can you just add it to my account?
I always message my flatmate and I'm like, hey, turn on PC, please. Thank you.
I would message my brother, but my PC isn't even there anymore.
That's right. Yeah, you're home, but you're not home.
No. I'm home, but I'm in a hotel, which is a weird one to come back to Ireland for.
Yeah, well, obviously it's been a pretty quiet 4 minutes or so far at the start of this game, and honestly it's kind of what we expected to happen. PSG, they don't really have a huge amount of ways of kind of affecting the lanes unless the Jarvan comes in, and Junjia just hasn't really had an opportunity, as all these lanes, except for bot lane, obviously have been pushing in.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to wait and see for a little bit. I think the real fight is going to start to kick off when this dragon starts to come up. Like, now that Wako's hit level 3, we'll be able to shove out this wave, get his own reset in to match the reset from Seo, and then they'll be in a decent spot to try and control the wave. Especially when you're looking at, hey, look, we've got so many ultimates to kick off at level 6. Rift Tower is going to be another big one for PSG Talon, but a lot of it's going to revolve around, hey, can we try and get multiple members up towards this top side? Because I think if you don't have like Woody on his way as well to try and help this one out, there's opportunities for Oddie to try and play around Bong, like get a quick combo there to take out Azhi, or a lot of setup that can come through from Mireu as well. So it can make the team fights a little bit tough with just trying to play into what OR7 have in that 3v3 skirmish.
And the thing is, like, it's been passive as such, but you can see the CS leads in the top lane, a little bit of CS lead as well in the mid and the bot. Just small little incremental advantages being kind of brought up here for PSG Talon. And Oddie, unfortunately, he's sitting on a ward. They have full recognition and vision of what's going on here. He's not really going to find much else, but we are eking towards having a level 6 potentially. And Oddie, they know you're there, and there's a Jarvan off to the side as well. They're going to try and fully engage onto this one here. The flick back does not land as the flash was used by Maple. Oddie taking a lot of damage, still has his flash if he needs it. Good rock being thrown here by the Talia, means that nothing else going to come out of it, but flash burnt by Maple.
Yeah, great bait though from PSG, right? They're like, hey, look, we know he's on a ward, we're going to try and make a play. And you can see on the opposite side, OR7 did have vision down on the Raptors, so they knew that Jarvan was probably going to be in this top side, but decided to go for the play anyway. Maple's flashed down, but you got a good amount of damage returned onto Oddie.
And the level 6s are hit. This is where I'm starting to get a little bit more kind of ready, if you will. Anticipation is building as we know that these teams are going to go for it. And I love what R7 are doing, recognizing, hey, we just saw the Jarvan mid. We can be aggressive. We can start to push this up a little bit further and maybe get a bit more of a lane pushed in spot side.
Yeah, I think the downside for this is that, like, for the downside for PSG is that Lyonz has a good amount of potential here against Woody that we might just see now. That's kind of the downside, is if you ever try to go forward as Rakan, so much of that CC can be plonked in your direction, can make it hard to go aggressive in this matchup. But at the moment, you're still going to be able to find there's a good amount of CS underneath this tower. They got Oddie down on the spot side just to make sure they continue this push in. They even start up the dragon here with the amount of control that OR7 have over the bot side. I'm watching to see exactly what Maple wants to try and do, because it wasn't even top.
So Sail look for the knock up, didn't land it, flash in, they get the root down, Wako has to cleanse, there's a lot of damage coming down, first blood, oh, not quite, that mystic shot was a hair away from setting up R7 in the bot side.
Yeah, I love the aggression though. They see that, hey, look, the knock-up is completely missed, and Mireu knows it as well, so Oddie going to finish off this dragon, and now the Talia's on the way. Jarvan though, Junjia waiting in the wings to try and turn this around.
I love this move from R7 as well. They built up the pressure bot side, had a ginormous wave, so there's no waves coming from there, and not only that, but Junjia dropped a ward on top side that immediately got him found out, so they knew where the Jarvan was. Great reactions from R7, get themselves the reward in the first dragon.
Yeah, they do end up getting the advantages, obviously, with the cleanse being down, the flash for Woody being down and that, but I mean, they burnt Lyon's flash as well. Most of that was, the CS was picked up underneath the tower as well by PSG Talon, so it would have been nice to could have got slightly more, but still, I love that we're getting this aggressiveness out of OR7 to try and find these little advantages.
And of course, it's just kind of how these teams are playing. Junjia was spotted before he came down here. Did clear out a pink ward before, or a vision ward before he came down here. So they know he's roughly in this area, but are they willing to bet he's waiting?
No, I think it's a good job from Junjia. Like, come down, escort the wave in for PSG, make sure there's no funny business from Oddie. He actually stays close enough to the wave as well, where he pings level 6, which is kind of the big mark you want to hit just before you come in towards this Rift Herald fight that's going to be happening in about 10 minutes time, or 10 seconds time as well. So you help your own bot lane get the reset, and PSG can actually drag Woody up, as you can already see now, towards that Rift Herald, whereas they can keep Wako safe and sound on the spot side as he's about to ping over to level 6.
Yep, gets himself the Feather Storm, so very hard to kind of lock him down once more. Audie is level 6 as well, so should have the Heartbreaker. And I mean, look, all the pressure and all the great things that are happening for R7, they are paying the price. It is a push and pull game, and I'll stop myself. They're waiting in the wings here. Does Maple walk towards it? That is the question. Woody is there as well. They're going to get the stun down. No rule. He really needs to land that little bit of CC. That flick back just missing is going to unfortunately mean we'll go on for first blood.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened with Lyonz. I think he was trying to Hex Flash over the wall to follow up on it, and he failed the Hex Flash and hooked the wall. So there wasn't really the follow-up there that they needed. Junjia had started up the Rift Herald, but I mean, at the moment, you still got a good amount of control here for R7 in the jungle. Yes, they used Oddie's ultimate, which is a bit of a sucker punch, and they might just back away, but it looks like at the moment PSG aren't as confident to try and go for this. They want to get the reset onto Maple, who'll now have to come back into lane before they can really look for this.
Yeah, bot lane should be pushed in here by Wako, and That should be kind of the real trade-off right now. Still have TP here onto Mireu, so should be able to kind of get down, clear this ward, and join up if he's needed around that Rift Herald.
Yeah, and that's why R7 get mid-prio off the back of Maple having to reset. Now they know, as you say, Mireu can always join in, so they've got the numbers advantages. So I'd be surprised if PSG really want to try and contest this.
Oh, low, they get the root down, they get the knock-up as well. Level 6 hit, the Cataclysm comes in for Junjia. He does get the knock-up at the back of it. There's a slightly Maelstrom, but it only really lands onto one, and now they can turn and burn for this fight. First blood finally goes over to Seo. Nice knockback here from Mireu as he gets on top of two. The Pop Blossom is decent, but there's no damage right now. The resets are coming in. Double kill for Seo. R7 are doing well in the early game.
R7 are coming in hot to Worlds 2023. Mireu TP's in. They get the fight, and PSG way too over aggressive. They didn't have the numbers, they didn't have the setup, and everything rushed and everything goes awry.
Seo doesn't have flash or heal, doesn't have his arcane shift either, and that's a shutdown there. Just not expecting the rat to be in the bush.
That's a big win for PSG though, because after you just had that fight go wrong, having Azhi now pick up 2 kills off the back of this means this Ken is going to be kind of terrifying as this game starts to go on. At least they get something back, but still R7, massive play for them, and you get to see it here, right? You can see Mireu catches that wave on bot side, and immediately Zaya starts to move up, but Lyonz is already engaged here. They get a massive knock up onto 2 people. You just don't really have the damage because Junjia immediately has to get out of the equation. Oddie manages to flash away from that engage, so the Kenano not really doing as much work as he wants, and as he pointed out in the fight, massive flick back from Mireu, gets the CC, gets the damage down, and sets up then for those resets on Oddie as well.
Yeah, just skirting around the vision in that top side there. And Seo, sadly, had already used his Arcane Shift in the early game. That is a hell of a cooldown there. I think it's like 20 plus seconds at the first few levels. So really unfortunate there. Look, it's a small win back for PSG, but R7, they're still going to be feeling pretty good there. You can see there, the Mastercard lane economy massively in favor of the kind of rest of the map apart from Bong. But in fairness, he knew he was playing weak side anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where you're kind of going, hey, look, the extra gold onto Seo is going to get him towards his Triforce, going to get him up towards his tier item as well, and you're going to be totally fine. I think Bong definitely does want to try and like stay at least even in this lane though, because when you're Renekton, you just become nothing if you start to fall behind. So Azhi getting those 2 kills was actually pretty big for them. But unfortunately, as you said, like we were talking about, like Seo giving over that kill in the early stages now means that Azhi, a lot of these fights are going to rely on him. The Zaya just isn't going to be able to keep up with the damage the Seo is going to be able to churn out as long as he's landed the Mystic shots. So this cannon is going to be the menace that PSG Talon need to work on.
And the big thing about that last fight as well is that we saw all the ultimates, but they were kind of like Cataclysm a couple of seconds later, then it was the Slicing Maelstrom, then a couple of seconds later, then it was the Pop Blossom. It wasn't a big wombo combo, it was kind of one after the other. When you're able to get those all together, that's when you're going to see a huge amount of burst coming out from PSG, and R7 need to be very wary of that. But yeah, you can see by the total damage, it's pretty in favor of the Kennen right now, because of just all the poke they're able to throw out.
Yeah, I know. That's why we kind of need to look at the flashes as we start to come in towards a lot of these fights, right? And it is specifically on towards Mireu and R7. He's the flash you need to worry about. Seo will be fine. He's got his own Arcane Shift. He'll be able to get out of there. Bong has got his way to slice and dice his way out of a lot of that damage. But if it's Mireu getting caught, he's just going to get completely wiped out. And if you then have that follow-up coming through from PSG Talon, it very quickly starts to snowball out of control. So that's where PSG, as you say, they need to kind of play patient and actually start to set up themselves up correctly. And unfortunately, that has been the biggest problem with PSG Talon, is just that impatience coming back to bite them at times.
Yeah, we saw that R7 tried to overload the top side there, but really not in a position there. I think that Azhi was just very smart of how he played, because cool, all my team's bot side, we're taking Dragon, I do not need to be aggressive right now. Backs himself away, and it doesn't really lead to anything. You will still have the Rift Herald to be used, but where you use it's going to be key here now for R7.
Yeah, I imagine that this is probably going to go down in towards this bot side, like just try and snowball Seo even more. There is an argument as well to try and get on towards Mireu, but I think you're so vulnerable if you're trying to overextend in mid lane versus Maple and Junjia with just the 1-2 combo that they have. It'd be so risky, but maybe, just maybe, they're looking to go first.
I'm going to try and pop it into Mireu, but again, this is just kind of priority in the top side now. Maple making sure that this does not have a clean push, and that's going to be all plates going over to the
jungler.
The jungler. Not the worst thing in the world with a Viego being a carry, but definitely would have preferred it to go onto the Talia, especially right now, to get that first item.
And that's what I was kind of saying, like, they didn't have vision on Junjia, so it's so scary to try and push up that far, especially with Woody even out of the equation as well. He wasn't showing on bot lane, so they completely back away and don't get as much as they'd like to. But yeah, Viego getting it is nice, but you definitely need to get Mireu into a position. Like, you can see one of the few people that doesn't have a mythic item picked up for him when it comes towards the damage dealers. So he'll be able to reset and more than likely pick up his Leandre's Anguish, but still this is giving PSG the opportunity to get the deep vision down, try and spot out how they want to attack, and it looks like it might be Mireu who's the target of that.
Yeah, Mireu just wants to try and clean up a bit of these waves. I do think they have enough in their inventory just to be able to get that last little bit of gold towards their item. Maple is going to stop them off. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I felt like that dummy stayed there a very long time, like a lot longer than it normally does. But, I mean, double Triforce on the side of R7, they have got a pretty decent one. But, yeah, you can see... Yeah, that lane economy is starting to get bigger and bigger for PSG in that top side, and it's becoming a bit of an issue because, again, like you said, it doesn't become about the laning phase anymore. It becomes about those team fights. Oddie, he's going to get jumped on here. Will not have a huge amount of damage thrown onto him just yet. They've invested 2 ultimates. There's going to be Mireu coming back on top of this one here, though. Junjia immediately flashing after the fact to try and make sure he stays alive, but he does get taken out. Woody can't get the root down. TP's coming in. That's going to be the Kennen trying to jump, or Maple, excuse me, coming in afterwards. Mireu cannot just be walked over this. Oddie gets a reset. Will not get the flick back, and they will trade back 1 for 1. So it's a little bit of a scrappy one there for PSG. They thought they found someone.
Yeah, they've tried to get the pick, but just not enough damage, and a good wall coming through from Mireu as well, because you've already got that ultimate there for Oddie to get himself back out of the harm's way, but because Junjia had already used the flag and drag, wasn't able to follow across, same with Woody, so they end up overcommitting then for the pick, and at least R7 are able to get something back as Wako answers in return.
It was a 4v4 bot side, but actually in the top lane it was a little bit of a 1v1. We saw both ultimates used, we actually see the flash from Bong used as well, but let's have a look at this one here, because Oddie, they have full information on him, and that's why they feel comfortable to go in and try and get him out off by surprise.
Yeah, and you can see, like, yes, they get a ton of CC down, but the damage just isn't quite there, so Oddie's able to flash over the wall. I thought it was a little bit of a dangerous wall coming through there, but actually worked out. Mireu gets the kill, but unfortunately to try and do so, he ends up way overextending. Good knock up then from Woody as well to just find that speed for Wako, and with the W popped, Azhi ends up getting the movement speed towards her target, so she's able to just chase that one down.
Okay, so absolute soldier.
Yeah, so interrupts the TP coming in, and that's why he lost a lot of his health, lost his flash, and now he's lost his life.
That's very unfortunate. He was trying to be an absolute bro. Does have the slice, does have the dice, and he's able to get himself out there. Bong, despite the pressure being thrown onto him, is holding his own on that top side and doing what he needs to do for his team, keeping the Kennen away.
Yeah, Bong doesn't crack under the pressure, able to move back, get out of the position, and now R7 trying to set themselves up as well in this mid lane. Wako needs to be so careful.
Yeah, needs to be very, very careful. That mid lane going down could be huge. There's a pop blossom. The 1, the 3, the flash is good, but can they get the damage afterwards? They do get Seo. The bomb comes in straight afterwards. A slice and dice will get him back over the wall. But I mean, just as Dragon's about to spawn as well, Rift Herald on this field as well. PSG should be able to get so much with this.
Yeah, great pick from PSG. Immediately moving over towards the Rift Herald. With 40 seconds on towards Dragon, they can even get the reset, use this Rift Herald then in mid lane to get pressure and commit towards that Dragon as well. So really great timing there. Again, this is why you got to be so careful and trying to contest on that mid wave. PSG have so many different angles of attack, and they catch out Sale. They're such an important member for that.
Look, it is only a 1 kill, but you do get the tower. You do end up trading it though for a Rift Herald, tower in top lane, pressure around this Dragon in 20 seconds as well. Oddie's nowhere near it, so the junglers are actually going to find each other saying, so sorry, didn't mean to be here. And it's a little bit of a 2v2 for the moment, but I mean, it's a Jarvan. There's not really many situations he's going to be able to knock it out of.
Yeah, the thing is though, they've now committed several members in R7 to this top side. You're going to only delay time until this Dragon comes up. You'll have PSG who are going to be in a position to try and follow up on that. They're basically, PSG Talon are trying to delay the opportunity for R7 to go towards this, because they'd love the TP to be out for Azhi. Probably won't be, as R7 kind of realize that. It looks like they're going to immediately move over towards that objective, but you're still getting good reset timers here for PSG. And now they can start to try and contest this as Azhi, with push on top, is moving down.
Yeah, Oddie might have to use his own ultimate there. Not quite sure what happened there with the hook, but he misses it completely. The pop blossom on the 2, no jungler now available. Flick back is decent on the Junjia, but there's just not the damage right now from the Celia. Lyonz just going to get taken out, and this is starting to change the momentum of the game. R7 had a good start, and now they're starting to fall apart. PSG just picking them away bit by bit.
Yeah, I think when you're looking towards this, R7 just need to take it slow. Like, see if they can get some poke with Seo, get some poke with Mireu, like, get the vision down so you're not running in towards Maple every single time. But even with the flash down, Maple's able to make it happen. Now you get, well, they haven't moved over towards Dragon, but you'll have to get this mid lane tower at the moment. And R7, well, maybe not. R7 able to delay this. A lot of PSG kind of scattering to the 4 corners, so not committing enough for the mid lane tower just yet, but nearly.
Charles the Cannon Minion couldn't do it for PSG, unfortunately. But yeah, let's have a look at this fight all the way back in this mid lane, because they really overcommit for this tower.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got Flash there as well coming through for Zayo, so he should never really be getting caught there. He probably had the Arcane Shift as well, but just not reacting in time. And then this as well, again, like, just overextension. Like, what is Leon's going to be able to do here with Oddie? Like, Mireu, yes, can try and come in, but actually just ends up cornering off his own teammates in that situation. And Zayo has got to play super far back here because he's worried about, you know, the cannon coming in, Maple being in position. That's why, again, we're kind of saying, hey, look, you need to be able to set yourselves up early as R7 on these positions, like control the choke points so PSG Talon can't just run in on top of you, but they just haven't really set themselves up for success in that regard.
And the thing is that, yes, we are seeing a trade of sides right now. PSG getting the Dragon, top lane being pressured in, but it's always PSG coming out on top. They're now getting bot lane pressure. They got the mid lane. They're getting so much more bang for their buck that it just feels like R7 are just constantly behind. Like, it's going to take probably maybe even another wave. It might just about get lucky, but I think, yeah, the cannon's going to feel fine to walk up to this.
Yeah, I mean, probably won't commit much to try and keep it off, so eventually Mireu will be able to get this, but as you say, you trade mid, Dragon, and bot side tower here. Just be very careful as Bong, because you do have at least Jarvan hovering over the side, but Lyonz and Oddie are waiting in the wings as well, so we'll just back away.
Oh, interruption. That's there's still a flash and a cataclysm for Junjia, but I think he's just, the nice little bit of movement. Had himself the Gore Drinker for extra healing, but gets taken down, heartbroken, and this is where you're going to try and thrive as R7. Get those small pickoffs and build.
I keep thinking one team has an advantage, and immediately it's like, nope.
The ultimate caster curse.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gold, right? Like, 600 gold between the two teams, nothing whatsoever. I mean, a huge amount of this still is going to be on the cannon in the top side, that like big gold difference, but like Zayo doing good damage, Oddie as well. You can see how much damage he could do to Junjia alongside Lyonz. So like there is a lot on R7 that can still be brought back here against PSG. So you can't just like wander into the bot side, but you don't really have the opportunity, the vision to spot out exactly what the response is from R7.
Absolutely, and I think the big thing for R7 getting that pick as well is that, and it's not just about getting the gold, which is nice, obviously, but it's also getting the flash, because Junjia is going to be the big main engage and everyone else follows up with it. But great hook here from Lyonz.
Yeah, I think it was kind of just greedy from Junjia, to be perfectly honest. Like, all you had to do is walk into the Dragon Pit, flag and drag over the wall, and you're out fine, right? Like, walking that way through all that vision is just going to cause you issues, especially when it hasn't been fully cleared out. So, nice job from Lyonz to get that set up. And I think at this stage then, you got to try and go, hey, look, PSG, just take it slow. Just make sure that you're setting up properly. You already have seen that they can get a ton of picks when they're given the opportunity. They're playing well around their vision. But the problem is that now with that pick as well in Junjia, not only the flash is gone, but a lot of the control you had in River is gone. You can see like all that bot side vision has been cleared out. They're starting to get control over this Baron area as well. And that's where it now becomes a little bit more difficult for PSG to find these flank routes for their squad to get on towards R7.
I'm looking at two massive items that are being completed there. Void Staff for Mireu, who's going to try and make use of it right now. The Pop Blossom, just a delay. Double up in that one there. Doesn't get the flick back on top of that one. Good flash away from Mireu and by Bong. They're looking for an engage in the mid lane though, as we see Junjia and the rest of the team looking for more. They get the knock up here and the charm coming out from the Rakan. A shutdown comes out. Bong finally gets himself a little bit more redemption as he look for a little bit more in this mid lane. Sayu and Oddie just can't do the damage. It's a 2-for-1 in the mid lane. Overall, a 2-for-2.
2 for 2. Sayo still trying to see if he can get more. Maple as well, still not out of the woods just yet. Sayo, he's feeling it, but I don't think he can really chase up. The second the Arcane shifts forward, what he would go from has the flash, so maybe he's looking for the outplay, but Mystic Shot's just not quite landing.
Sayo is really starting to build up some confidence right now. Not many people will walk that aggressively in front of a Xayah and Rakan, and you can see there, Wako gets delayed as well, so that's a lot of damage in that tier 2, but let's have a look at the bot lane first.
Yeah, Bong stepping under the tower, Mireu comes in, and I like that they don't actually engage on this, right? So Maple trying to lock them up underneath the tower. The flick misses, stunned, handled Azhi there, but then yeah, it must have just, very overextension. Gore Drinker, the Q, a lot of opportunity to try and bring that one back, and Maple, you're kind of like a one-hit wonder in that bot side. Once you've used that combo, there's not much else in the tank.
Yeah, and then we saw, again, kind of fights on two fronts then, and all of a sudden a great hook to start it all off, and then it becomes so scrappy with everything being used.
Yeah, everyone on R7 flashing away from the pullback from Wako meant there wasn't really that big damage follow-up initially, and you're kind of waiting on that to restart. Oddie went in here thinking he could maybe get the reset, but just didn't quite have enough health bar left. And it meant that then it ended up being the 2 kills going across in the mid lane to answer for the bot lane.
I mean, Dagda, 23.5 minutes, 8-7. It is a 300 gold lead for ours. I mean, that goal graph tells it all there. It just really does. Like, it's been so close.
The goal difference over time powered by AWS says everything there. Like, the fact that you're getting that much of a back and forth roller coaster on this game tells a lot. But you have to look now, Bong. being careful in that bot lane. Realizes there might be some people trying to sneak in behind him, so he's going to back away.
I'm going to give like massive props to Bong right now. He was 30 CS down, and now he's nearly a full level up. Like, that's insane to think about what he's doing, because he's just done his job absolutely correctly and hasn't died.
I think a huge portion of that, though, is that, like, PSG are trying to drag Azhi into these fights because they realize, hey, look, realistically, this Kennen is our big damage dealer. We kind of need him to be at the forefront, but it's not really working out for him particularly well. Like, every time they try and drag him down, the fights have been a bit have been separated, so they're not quite able to get him into position to try and carry. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of his build. Like, adding the Mireu Nomicon in here is kind of nice against some of the healing from the Renekton, but I think a little bit overkill, especially when you're like, hey, look, I need to be the one that kind of steps up in these scenarios to be a big damage dealer. Like, I don't think the Mireu offers you enough in that scenario.
Let me just see what they want to go for. And we are at a point now where you can burn down this Baron so quickly here as R7. They say, cool, you're going to take the dragon. That's fine. Go for it. There's plenty of visions or ways of getting vision right now. Right between the sticks here does go the True Shot Barrage. And everyone just kind of hovering in. We're starting to feel like we're one big fight from a really big moment in this game.
I like what R7 are trying to do, though. They're trying to play in towards their vision, say, hey, PSG Talent, you have to come through these choke points, which is where our composition is stronger, whereas PSG are trying to drag them into their own vision so they can have flanks and try and catch them out of multiple different angles. So at the moment, you can see both teams kind of in that stalemate and nobody really wanting to commit.
Wako! Don't know why he's there, but he's getting all the damage. He got the root as well. They walk straight into the feathers, and that's all they needed to do. Now you can see a fight on two fronts. They are getting damage down. Bong still keeping himself alive. Nicely done with the Pop Blossom, though. And that's a clean enough fight for the side of PSG. They lose one, they get four, and they can just barrel down the mid. They've got a huge minion wave.
I mean, Wako went God mode in that one. Immediately picks off Oddie, sets up PSG, and yeah, the wave is there. The base is going to be absolutely left in tatters. I mean, 15 seconds, 6 seconds until Seo's up. Like, they could just go for the end.
They might think about it. It is only game one of this best of three. Looks like they're just going to back away afterwards. They've got the Hex Gates. Everyone just walking away from this one here. And they're going to turn and burn for the big purple worm.
They're immediately going to move over towards that one. Now, you have TP for Mireu, TP for Bong as well, so this could actually be a little bit risky, especially with Hex Tech Gates on the Rift as well. Or 7 trying to move in to contest Maple.
Has got himself it's a fake one. Faked us out as well. They have vision on this, so they know what's going down. Oddie's got ultimate and flash. You can get on top of it. True Shot Barrage lands on the Woody. They're putting them in. It's fish in a barrel. He goes get the Baron, but can they get out with it? Flash out immediately. Bong can't get into the fight right now. They're trying to get the stones in, but just can't get the damage out. It was just a little bit too discoordinated from R7. You could see the idea. They just couldn't bring it together.
Yeah, they were just a couple of seconds behind and not quite able to get into pit, but we get a replay here. R7 walking in completely blind. I think PSG have walked away, but Wako, great setup there. The CC sets up beautifully for Woody then to come in over the wall. Azhi gets the answer on towards the backline because he's got a direct route. And it means that R7 going to move over towards the dragon. They'll get it, but what else would they get?
What else can they get? Junjia tried to do a little bit of a drive-by. Does get the Cataclysm out. Seo just going to get himself away from this one here. Stopwatch used by Junjia means he won't get any more damage done onto him. And R7 are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. They need to get themselves out. Oddie doesn't have flash and ultimate because he used it last time. He will be sacrificed. And now Woody tries to go for a little bit more. Seo, no flash, but does have the arcane shift. They're just poking them out right now. And everyone backs themselves away. Good for R7 to get the dragon, but I mean, you still have a Baron to contest with.
The problem was that they went for resets in R7. Mireu went back to base, so they weren't able to immediately burn down the dragon as PSG were resetting after Baron. So PSG come back out, they get the kill. They're now going to get bot tower off of this, and they're going to get this bot inhibitor as well. You just don't have the people you need to defend this, especially with midwave now there as well.
Yeah, you have to be so careful here, Seo. He just needs to make sure he's not getting caught out. Junjia has got a flash to go for a flash, flag, and drag if he really wanted to, and that's going to be another inhibitor turret exposed. Do they get the second inhibitor? That's the question. I mean, Wako has been fantastic with these routes as well. You can't even walk forward because he just always has 6 or 7 feathers dotted around the place.
Yeah, and look, with that, as soon as Azhi shows up, they're like, cool, we're going to be totally fine to take this. Can't really do particularly much.
No, feathers do go flying. Wako does get hit by the ultimate, but I mean, they're turning it all back on the Lyonz, who is ignited, getting taken so low. Is he? Yes, tick down Woody, finishing that one off in a little bit of supportal combat. And I mean, it's so difficult now to get this damage to stick, and they've got minions, they've got Baron, they might look for the end. They're going to go in, Cataclysm goes in straight away. There's the Pop Blossom down on the 2. They're just using these ultimates to try and stop everyone from dying, and Wako just feeling untouched. Unfavorable in this fight is he, but PSG are going to be getting themselves the first win of Worlds 2023.
They had in the KDA.